the hardest thing to do is to put yourself out there with confidence, to really show off. I mean, humility is a great personal trait, but when you're going through an employee selection process, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to highlight and essentially brag about why you're going to be a good fit for the role.
The education landscape is constantly evolving. Staying ahead of the trends is essential. Welcome to EdBuzz LA County, where we explore groundbreaking initiatives, inspiring stories, and innovative practices shaping the future of learning here in Southern California. The Los Angeles County Office of Education is the largest regional education agency in the country. We're a team of dedicated and enthusiastic individuals committed to creating a meaningful and lasting impact for the children who we serve. I'm Elizabeth Grasswich, Executive Director of Public Affairs and Communications, and I'm joined now by Dr. Kanika White, Chief Human Resource Officer, and Eric Rowen, our Executive Director of Classified Human Resources, to talk about working at LACOE. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
So we're going to start off with one of my favorite questions to ask colleagues, which is why LACOE? What drew you to LACOE? Why choose LACOE?
Well, when I became aware of my position being available, it was during the pandemic, and I had an opportunity to watch LACOE's response led by Dr. Eduardo from the onset of the pandemic. And I was just blown away at just the focus on people and making sure that the districts were okay and that they had a safe environment or platform to ask their questions and to receive the latest information and updates for LADPH. And then there was Dr. Eduardo's focus on wellness and just really caring about not is the work happening, but also how is the person that's providing the services, providing the work. We're in the people business. And so I really appreciate and respect just the focus on caring about well-being and how we are doing just as people first.
So I've been at LACOE for a while now. I actually had my first interview here 10 or 11 years ago. And the person who was in my position told me that everyone should have the opportunity in their career to work in a place that is well-functioning, that is mission-driven, and focused on continuous improvement. And I think we've struck a really great balance here. I mean, you can tell that LACOE cares about its people, its employees. We, kept on the hybrid work schedule and all of the things, the bright spots that came out of the dark time that was the pandemic. And I just really am energized by our impact as well. I mean, largest regional education agency in the nation, and we have a tremendous opportunity here to impact the students, the staff, adults, and even kids who aren't even going to school yet in early childhood education. And so I love that we can have that impact here.
Couldn't agree with you both more. I mean, it's a wonderful place to work with a wonderful mission and impact, and just the fact that we are so human-focused, people-focused. For people that are looking for positions and thinking about, working at LACOE, what kind of positions do we hire here at LACOE? I mean, I think people might be surprised by some of the work that we do.
Sure. We have quite a few classifications here at LACOE on both the certificated and the classified side. We provide a great deal of services, not only to LACOE programs and LACOE schools, but we provide services and support and resources to our 80 school districts and 13 community colleges. So you can only imagine just how many positions we hire for.
And then what is the difference between a classified and a certificated position? It's a term that a lot of us in education use, but if you're not necessarily in education already, you may not be familiar with that term.
Classified positions are positions that don't require licensure or certification. Certificated positions require certificates, such as teachers, assistant principals, specialists, psychologists, counselors, some librarians. Those are all positions that require certification.
Dr. White's office oversees all the certificated hiring. Ours on the personnel commission side, we oversee that for the wide array of classified positions. And it's pretty remarkable, the types of jobs that we have, because it does range in so many ways in the way we support education, from a custodian or an accountant, making sure people get paid, to, the chief financial officer who signs all teachers' checks throughout the county, to a lot of technology positions you wouldn't even imagine that we would have. I mean, there's network and server engineers, there's business intelligence analysts and engineers, and then we do a lot to impact Head Start. We support the largest Head Start program in the country as well. So we've got specialists helping Head Start programs ensure that their students with disabilities are well supported and things like that. The nutrition specialists, there's just such a wide array, and that's one of the most rewarding parts of our jobs, to getting to know all of those positions so we can hire the right people for them.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's just always amazing to me at LACOE is just, our scope in terms of all the different things that we do here. And so it's just like, you name it, there's kind of a position attached to it, because, there's so much support staff that make, everything work for the education part of the house as well, right? So, it's interesting. So for a job applicant who may not be used to a scenario in which there's two separate departments handling hiring, what should they know, in terms of the personnel commission and that hiring process versus the HR department?
Well, for both certificated and classified positions, we're pretty prescriptive at LACOE in what the requirements are, what the minimum qualifications are, and we're transparent. I would like to say we're transparent on both sides, and we work really collaboratively to create more uniformity. But in our job descriptions, in our job postings, great place to find information that will clearly explain what we're looking for and what the qualifications for any job seekers might be. Places in which, and I'll speak for the certificated side, we utilize EdJoin, and we try to place all of the information in that tool that candidates may want to know more about. But we also include our information in case a more human touch is necessary, and we can provide that additional support and walk a candidate through better understanding the expectations moving forward.
Right. And anyone on the classified side who's applying for a job is going to interact primarily at first with the personnel commission, right? From their job application to all of the testing and interviews until you get a job offer, really. And then we pass it along to the Human Resources Services Division. But yeah, we're overseen actually by a 3-person personnel commission. It's kind of unique if you're not familiar with school districts, but in a merit system, we have, by education code, very clear practices kind of outline in law in how we hire, and it's overseen not by the superintendent, not necessarily by her delegates directly, but that process is overseen by 3 people who are experts in the field. They oversee any appeals, any disciplinary appeals, and kind of ensure that everything's really transparent, like Dr. White said, and just a really clean, clear hiring practice based on the merits.
And ultimately for job candidates, they don't need to worry about it that much. Give us a call. We'll help them navigate. If they call HRS and they really should be with PC, you'll get them to the right place and vice versa,
We
right?
work very well together.
Oh, absolutely. As you can imagine, a great deal of collaboration goes into the work that we do.
Well, and the word collaboration really makes me think of my next question. There a lot of studies have gone into showing that organizational culture and fit is increasingly important for job seekers. So when you think of the organizational culture for LACOE, how would you describe it to someone?
And I think I touched on it before for LACOE, is that well-being and support for its employees, right? That focus on well-being, inclusion. I just love that about our organization. Right, recently we have had a luncheon for Black History Month. We celebrated Lunar New Year. We've got Pride Month coming up, right? Very inclusive, very supportive, and ensuring that, we have that hybrid work schedule. We're able to have that flexibility, be modern, continuously improve in that way to really support our employees. And if you're new to LACOE, and I hear this from people all the time, You walk around, you talk to people, and they've been here for 5, 10, 15, 25 years, and they've progressed through the organization. I know our last CFO came in as like an administrative support position and worked her way all the way up. And so that opportunity to come here to grow as an employee is just pretty amazing.
And, if I can just add to that, we talked a lot about collaboration and about teamwork and cross-divisional support. And I would say that our organizational culture is very much grounded in trust and relationships. Under Dr. Dorlo's leadership, we spent a great deal of time really not only understanding our own professional skills and qualities that we bring or add value to the team with, but also what makes us who we are as a person. We spend a great deal of time understanding our personal backgrounds, our families, just really understanding who we are as people, as humans. And it's very important when you consider that we spend a great deal of time working together. And when you want to build a healthy organization that's rooted in collaboration, it takes trust building and relationship building, and we do the work collectively as a team to get there.
Yeah, you really can bring your whole self to the office. And there's a big focus on that well-being. Like, we have large leadership meetings that take the time to really make sure that everyone's grounded and can have a 3-minute meditation at the beginning of a large meeting to really focus on being there, being present, and connecting with the people around you. And that's unique.
Given our organizational culture, given our mission, are there specific skills or qualities in candidates that kind of we're looking for across positions?
Well, professionally, the skills that we're looking for each position are outlined in great detail in the position description. However, when it comes to personal attributes and innate qualities, we're looking for people who are willing to come as their true, authentic selves. We want to embrace one another and celebrate the unique qualities that make us different, and find that intersectionality between the things that we have in common.
Our processes for hiring are focused on those job-related behaviors, right? We use a competency modeling factor analysis for all of our jobs and how we put things together and hire the right person for the right position. However, there are a couple universal pieces that we're always looking for, and one is customer focus. And this is in every single job description we have, as well as valuing diversity, right? Valuing the diversity of the people that you're working with and supporting each other through it. Bringing your true, authentic self to the office is a very big piece of that. I think you'll fit right in here at LACOE.
Awesome. Another thing that candidates are often looking for today is growth. So, not only maybe when they come in as new hires, but then also growth as they're in the position. So what kind of growth, professional development opportunities do we provide for our staff?
Well, LACOE provides a great deal of professional opportunities. When I started at LACOE, one of the 3 top things that Superintendent Duardo wanted me to work on and accomplish was a pathway for LACOE employees to seek capacity building opportunities and perhaps find themselves qualifying for some higher level positions should they find interest. And so we're really excited that we were able to assemble a committee and really do some research into what are the areas of growth that would benefit a person most who might be looking for their first position in leadership. And we essentially developed a menu of workshops to develop those skills, everything from fiscal services, understanding facilities, hiring one-on-one, hiring basics. And just the list goes on, just coaching and mentoring. And now we're adding an additional layer, again, through collaboration, a management training program to help new and aspiring leaders either develop the skills needed to be successful in a leadership role or further refine the skills that they already have. So we're really excited about our ability to refine skills, build skills and help our employees realize that there is a pathway for growth should they seek to pursue it.
Yeah. No, and that new Pathways program is marvelous. We've got a human resources analyst who started a couple years ago, had a one-on-one mentor right out the gate, and she's grown tremendously in her role here. Our office also hosts career growth workshops, we call them, and so those give you the tips and the tricks to really be effective at putting your best self forward in interviews and any written examinations, performance tests, and things so that you can promote here within LACOE. And we also make a really concerted effort to publicize any temporary opportunities for employees to maybe, pop outside of their typical career path and try out a new position because someone's out on leave or, we need extra help in this area. And it's a very, very supportive environment in which those managers are willing to, kind of backfill, give someone else an opportunity to take your role so you can try something new in the meantime for your own development. And you see LACOE everywhere too, in terms of our participation in professional groups locally, right? Conferences, there's, presenters, as well as just, being part of the groups. I would say we're very engaged in education community and our own fields, that we're all working in, of course. But
I'm so glad you brought that one up because that is something that I think is very unique to LACOE just because of who we are and, and the fact that we do represent so many students. There are so many different interactions you can have, not only with the 80 school districts, but also up and down the state, even nationwide, right?
Absolutely.
It's one thing that I've found to be very unique here. Another question is really important, and it centers on diversity and inclusion and hiring. What do we do at LACOE to ensure that our hiring practices are equitable and fair?
We're really excited at Human Resource Services that we were able to assemble a committee and produce our first LACOE recruitment manual. This recruitment manual outlines in detail our entire process to ensure that we are consistent and we are fair in our processes. We provide training to our hiring managers so that they will understand the processes. Our recruitment manual is an excellent tool and is currently used by other county offices and some of our school districts as well, who are looking to create their own manual to ensure more fairness. We're also excited about just our focus on ensuring diverse interviewing panels. Depending on our experiences, there may be differences in the way in which we hear responses from a candidate during an interview process. So it's important that when debriefs are happening among a panel, that the panel is comprised of diverse members of the LACOE community.
Very similar in the personnel commission side, right? Diversity and inclusion are just the core of what we do. It's merit-based hiring. I think a key piece of our hiring practice is, nobody comes in with the prettiest resume and the strongest handshake to get a job. When it comes down to it, it's not about who you know, it's about what you can do and what you know, right? We build all of our recruitment processes based on the job descriptions that are out there, very transparent, the core competencies of what you'll need to be successful in that job, and then we test them and score them in a way that reduces bias, right? We blind applications, so those screening them aren't impacted by any potential bias. We, rather than going straight into an interview, we'll have something called a performance examination, where you do something that's on the job, and then we blind the person who has done it and just look at the work product and score the work product. And that person moves forward who has the best job-related work product for that role. And then when it comes to those interviews, those ones that are a bit more open to bias, we do the same as Dr. White was talking about in trying to build our panels, our interview panels, to be diverse and make sure that we're getting a variety of perspectives for those ratings and ensuring that we have uniform standards for how we're scoring people. So The other piece that I really love about our process is that everyone who applies who meets the minimum qualifications is considered. So it's really that piece of, it's not who you know, it's what you can do. And everyone has the same opportunity to perform. And we go beyond that, though, in a more equitable way, and making sure that we're not just advertising to putting a job up on, for us, is schooljobs.com. But we reach out to professional groups that really, target minorities, target women in technology, for example, and really make sure that they are aware of our opportunities here, because this is a great place where you've got a shot, no matter your background, where you're coming from.
Before we close, I want to ask you about tips. I think that's something that all candidates are kind of looking for. What are your top 3 tips for people that are applying to jobs at LACOE?
Top 3 tips. I would recommend honesty. We don't expect a person to know everything. We do expect that candidates are honest in what they write on an application, honest in what they share in their interview. I would also recommend that a candidate be committed. I like to say in HR, we don't do hard work, we do heart work. We want people on the team that are committed to helping to provide opportunities for kids and families in Los Angeles County who need us most. We want people who are here that show up every day ready to contribute to making a positive impact. And lastly, my 3rd tip is that you be yourself. We're really interested in getting to know the real you, and we invite you to show up as your true and authentic self.
Yeah. Okay, for my 3 tips, I would say number 1 is look closely at the job description. Quite honestly, it is the answer key for what you're trying to do. We do our best to update the job descriptions as often as we can, so they should be a true reflection of the job that you will be doing here. And we're going to have a process that measures your capability of succeeding in that job. So look at it closely. Look for the knowledge required. Look at the competencies that we're looking for. That's exactly what we'll be testing in the personnel commission process. And number 2, I would say, would be very engaged. This isn't the type of place where you throw in your resume into a black hole and you hope something comes out of it. Honestly, it may take a little while because we have a very regimented process. But if you stay engaged, you can reach out to the human resources analyst who's in charge of your recruitment at any time, even afterwards. If you want feedback about any test part, we can provide that. And that's unique to most organizations. You don't usually go say, hey, why didn't I get that job, right? That's always great for, building yourself for next time. So stay engaged. And then the 3rd one is practice. Practice. That's one thing I tell everyone who's going into a job interview is just write down some questions, hand them to someone you know, and get through that awkward phase of talking about yourself. Because honestly, the hardest thing to do is to put yourself out there with confidence, to really show off. I mean, humility is a great personal trait, but when you're going through an employee selection process, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to highlight and essentially brag about why you're going to be a good fit for the role. So practice doing so, get comfortable in that. And that way, when you're in the interview, when the lights are on and you're feeling a little nervous, you'll automatically know where you're going, and you can present yourself in the way that'll ensure you get the job.
So helpful. I want to thank Dr. Kanika White and Eric Rowen for joining us to talk more about working at LACOE. Visit our website, www.lacoe.edu, to learn more about the jobs available and how to apply for them. I'm Elizabeth Grasswich. See you next time on EdBuzz.